Welcome to Legislative User Training. We will be walking through how to run reports and review which reports will be the most helpful to legislative users. The majority of reports will ask users to select members from the scenario and version dimensions. These dimensions combined are used to track the point in time of data within the 2-year biennial budget cycle. Scenario is used to track the point in time within the annual budget cycle. We utilize Scenario to track the points in time in which we publish data. These are Governor's Rec, Governor's Revised Rec, and enacted changes. The version allows the flexibility to have multiple iterations of each scenario. All entry is made at the working version, and when we are done and publish this data, we copy it into the final version. The first year of the biennium, we copy our working data to biennial final. We then enter data again in the working version. The second year of the biennium, we copy data to the supplemental final version. The what-if scenario has yet to be utilized, but has been developed for all agencies to enter data that cannot be seen by MMB and vice versa. Knowing the scenario and version combination is necessary to know at what point in time in the 2-year biennial budget cycle the data was entered. Here is a snapshot of where to find data once it has been entered. For base budget development in the fall of 2014, all data is entered at scenario equaling November base and version equaling working. Use these scenario and version numbers through the publication of the governor's budget in January of 2015. When running reports, it is important to keep in mind that timing is everything. Data entered at the lowest level of a dimension will be available immediately. Running reports at a higher level, however, for example at the budget activity, program, or agency level, will require that the data be aggregated in order for the report to pull back the correct information. Transfer data and aggregations occur at the top of every hour. Within the first 10 minutes of an hour, the data is being updated. From 10 minutes after the hour through the top of the hour, your reports will reflect data that has been entered prior to the top of the last hour. We will now navigate to BPAS through the administrative portal in order to demonstrate a few reports and discuss tips and tricks that will be helpful to you. Use your state ID and password for SWIFT or Semaphore to access the administrative portal. Select the Budget Planning and Analysis link. Wait for BPAS to load. While BPAS is loading, you may close out of the 2 windows that had been previously opened. These windows are not essential to BPAS running. In order to access reports, navigate to Explore from the BPAS homepage. Each folder on the Explore page is organized by the documents that the reports within the folders are used to produce. Before running your reports for the first time in BPAS, you must set your preferences. In order to set your preferences, navigate to File, Preferences, and select the Financial Reporting icon. From here, you're going to want to make sure that the User Point of View preview has been turned on. All other settings are user determined, however the user point of preview must be on in order to set your report parameters. Once you have selected your desired settings, click on OK. We will first run a typecode report by navigating to Detail Reports and Dimension Hierarchy. You will notice when clicking on this report that the User Point of View Preview pop-up menu will appear. This menu allows you to select your search parameters. This report is designed to run at the entity level. If you know the 3-digit agency code for the agency that you wish to look at, you may type it in the box and select OK. You may also click on Select and type in your 3-digit agency code in this box and click on the binoculars next to the search box. This will pull back all of your options for your 3-digit agency code. You're going to want to select the one that is in the statewide hierarchy here and select OK. If you did not know what your 3-digit agency code was, but you knew the hierarchy of your code, you could drill down by clicking on the Select button once again, clicking on the plus sign next to Entity, clicking on the plus sign next to statewide and drilling down through the bill areas to find the agency that you are looking for. Once again, you will select OK. If you were desiring to look at a statewide level rather than an agency level, you may simply click on Select, the plus sign next to Entity, and the radio button next to Statewide. Click on OK, and click on OK once more to run your report. Running reports at a statewide level will take slightly longer than running a report at an agency level. This report lists the appropriations within their assigned type code for the selected entity. Because we ran this report at a statewide level, this will pull back all of the type codes for all of the entities. If we desired to change this report to a specific type code, we could simply navigate to the top left-hand corner and click on Statewide. This will cause the User Point of View preview menu to pop up once more, and we can again drill down and select the desired entity that we wish to see. And click OK. This now changes the report to only reflect the appropriations within the assigned type code, specifically for Agency Code G10. The Appropriation Type Code report will allow us to see dedicated and non-dedicated appropriations. Non-dedicated appropriations do not have spending associated with the receipted funds. Direct and dedicated appropriations are all shown under the dedicated selection. These can be direct, open, continuing, special dedicated, MnSCU alternative close, or education alternative close. Back in BPAS, we are now going to look at reports that you would use to get a sense of the scope of the agencies or bill area you are interested in. To close out of any report, simply navigate to the top of the screen and click on the X on the Report tab. This will bring you back to the Explore menu. We're first going to take a look at statewide level reporting. These reports look at all accounts at the same time. One nice feature I would like to point out is the description column on the right-hand side of the report screen. In this column, we have provided a brief description of each report, what they do, and what they pull back. We will now run the Available Resources by Fund report. As you can see, the User Point of View preview pops up once more. Your scenario should be set to November base and your version set to working. For this example, I'm going to run this report at the G10 level. If you desire, you can run this report at a statewide level, but keep in mind it will take a while longer to pull back your data. This report will return all funds on the entity selected. The dollar values are dedicated only, so the revenues are only those that the agencies can spend. If you desire to drill down to see the agencies within each fund, you can use the Available Resources by Agency report. For this example, I'm going to use Fund 3501. Select OK. As you can see, this report pulls back all of the agencies within this fund. To see the appropriations of each agency or an individual agency, go back to the Explore menu and select the Available Resources by Appropriation report. In this report, you can select both the agency and the fund to drill down even further. As you can see, this report pulls back the appropriations of the individual agency. Once again, the dollar values are dedicated only, so the revenues are only those that this agency can spend. You can navigate back to the Explore menu, and if you want to dig into the revenues collected within the fund, you can select the Fund Level Revenue Report. We will use Fund 1000 as an example and select OK. This report returns dedicated and non-dedicated revenue information by fund for the entity selected. For an even more detailed look at the data, we're going to navigate to the Detail Reports folder in the Explore menu. Reports within this folder are typically for one agency and specific or all funds. Each of the folders within the Detail Reports folder is labeled by the layout of the report. In the Accounts folder, the accounts are on the rows, and in the Appropriations folder, the appropriations or higher level entity are on the rows. We're going to go on into Accounts and run an Available Resources report as an example. You can either run the Available Resources report to see all available resources, or run an Available Resources Suppress Zero report, in which accounts with the zero are suppressed and the user can drill down to a deeper level. Once again, your user point of view preview will pop up, and you can enter your 3-digit account code and the fund that you are looking for. We're going to run this for all funds. On this report, you can drill down further by selecting the arrows. In any report, if you decide to change your search parameters, you may select either entity or fund at the top left hand of this report. For example, if I wanted to change the entity I was looking at, I could simply click on Entity and select what I desired to see. As you can see, instead of G10, this report is now pulling back E37 information. You can also toggle between the HTML and PDF views of the report by going up to the left-hand part of your screen and selecting either the HTML icon or the PDF icon. Currently, this report is an HTML view. However, when we select the PDF icon, the report will switch to PDF view. You cannot drill down in PDF view. At the bottom of the HTML version, you can select Export in Query to export your report into Excel. You can also navigate to File, Export, and select the document type in which you wish to export your report to. Back on the Explore Details Reports page, the Expenditure Detail and Expenditure Detail Suppress Zero reports, as well as the Revenue Detail and Revenue Detail Suppress Zero reports, will work in this same fashion. At the high level, they are the same as the reports in the statewide level folder. However, the Suppress Zero reports are drillable down to the lowest level to see where the activity occurred. The Revenue Detail report specifically will break out dedicated and non-dedicated revenues. We will now explore the Appropriations folder within the Detail Reports folder. This folder has entity or appropriation in the rows. The Account Net report will report the difference between available resources and amount expended. The appropriations will be dedicated appropriations, and the expenditures will report on your expenditures. The Revenue report breaks out the revenue by dedicated or non-dedicated funds. There are two transfer reports within this folder: transfers incoming from statewide and transfers outgoing to statewide. The first transfer report will show all transfers from the selected fund and entity, and the other transfer report will show all transfers to the selected fund and entity. From 10 minutes after the hour through the end of the hour, your reports will reflect the data that has been entered in the previous hour. Going back out to the root page of the Explore menu, there are a few other folders that will be of use to you. The first is the General Fund Statement folder. Within this folder holds the reports that are intended to help point to the source of data used in the General Fund Statement. The Appropriations by Bill area shows appropriated values in fiscal year 15 through fiscal year 19. Within this report, you can drill down into specific appropriations. The Expense by Bill area report shows expenditure values in fiscal year 13 and fiscal year 14. You may also drill down in this report to specific appropriations. As we reconcile, we will post a Transfer Pivot Tables spreadsheet here to reconcile the transfer data. The Revenue report may not be as useful at this point in time. Use a Revenue report in the Detail Reports folder instead. Within the Fiscal Page Reports folder, There is also a Change Summary Reports folder. We do not include these reports in the budget books, however, they will be helpful in tracking base adjustments by program or budget activity and may be useful when creating tracking spreadsheets. Back in the Fiscal Page Reports folder, we're going to look at how to run these fiscal pages at each level. First, we'll look at how to run a report at an agency level. In order to do this, you can simply select your agency, as we have been doing, and select OK. This report will pull back your information at the agency expenditures level. To run a fiscal page for a program expenditure level, select the program level report, and instead of selecting the agency that you wish to look at, click on Select, and we're going to drill down through our hierarchy, past the bill area, and past the agency to view the program level, and select OK. If you're looking to drill down further than the program level and into the budget activity level, select the budget activity report, click on the Select button, and we're going to drill down through our hierarchy once more, past our bill area, past our entity, past our program. Now you can select the radio button next to the budget activity and select OK. This will pull back a fiscal page at the budget activity level. Thank you for watching the Legislative User Report training. For BPAS questions, please contact the BPAS Help Desk at 651-201-8100, option number 3.